I have one more scheduled speaker, and that's going to be MARYJANE OELKE'S. She is the daughter of the former owner of the Dundalk Eagle. Please welcome MARYJANE. And we'll have one more speaker, Kevin Marin, after this. And sorry, we're running a little over. I've done my best to keep it there and give everybody the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much for coming, Mary. MARYJANE.
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 And
Still working on getting the door.
thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm surprised to be mentioned as Kimball Elke's daughter, but I hope it does lend some credence to what I'm about to say. And unlike many of you, I cause feedback. Okay. And need notes. So I'd just like to say that as a citizen of, and
Just touch it.
No, you gotta put that stand back.
Well, I don't know
It's the metal
about that.
from the stand that's
I
keeping
don't
it.
know that that's it.
I'll just be closer. I was targeted by corrupt zoning officials and police, and a police impersonator who was working for the Baltimore County Zoning Department. And this included due process civil rights violations, and I am a witness.
Excuse
One
me,
second.
They're just gonna move it back just a little bit. That happens on Sunday also, that's why I know.
Thank you.
That should work out.
Thank you, and again, thanks for sponsoring this meeting. I have testimony against several county officials and police officers, and I have been advocating for a civilian review board for police and zoning misconduct in Baltimore County, and an investigation into collusion among zoning department and court employees, and I have tangible evidence of this, some of which is right here in this file. And it's a big file. We don't want to go through it now, but before I speak about my personal experience, I would like to talk for 1 second about the PUD in White Marsh. I'm a member of the White Marsh community, and it's very strange to me because it seems to be a pattern that the community is not notified in a timely manner about these PUDs, and it occurs over and over again. It's a pattern of behavior. It's misconduct. Okay, so it's very strange to me that part of the process of forwarding the particular PUD in White Marsh, which is the Paragon Outlets, the outlet mall in particular, which would bring in a huge paved surface for one thing. That's why some of the community members object. Also the traffic problems that would happen. But we weren't notified about this before it came before the county council. And what I'm given to understand that it went forward not by a vote of the county council, but by the county council leaving it on the table and not voting on it. So it went forward. Nobody was aware of it in the community. I wasn't, for sure. So anyway, my curiosity is that at the time, the head of zoning, the Department of Zoning in Baltimore County was Scott Kutroko. And subsequently, he was head of the county zoning for years and years, I believe. Well, subsequently, I come to find that Paragon is now going through more processes to try to further their efforts to bring to fruition the PUD that they've tried to keep quiet, actually. And now, this is after while Kutroko was head of zoning, now he's representing the Paragon Outlets. He's an attorney affiliated with the Baltimore Towson-based firm that represents Paragon Outlets. He's one of their associates now. And I want to ask you, or somebody tell me, is a job offer a bribe? Just wondering.
Yes.
Okay, so back to my own personal experience. Yes, I witnessed due process violations. I have documents here that show that a planned zoning permit was issued with altered documents showing, for instance, the house facing the county road, which it did not, which allowed a side yard pool to be put in. In other words, pools in Baltimore County are only allowed to be put in the backyard. And the person who put the pool in also was dumping chlorinated water down the hill towards my drinking water well. Also, the person who put the pool in told me that he was going to close my driveway, my deeded access, a driveway to my home of over 25 years, and that I would not be able to get in and out to my house. And so I didn't think he'd be able to do that, so I kind of dismissed the threat. But it, remained a threat, and come to find out that a few years later, he did actually begin to construct a fence in my right-of-way. And along with several other zoning violations that were being created on the property, I went to the zoning office and I asked to speak to someone regarding the matter, and I was directed to a zoning inspector. You go to this man. We are not allowed to talk to you about that. You go talk to him. And guess who it was? It was a man named Derek Propolis. And Derek Propolis sat behind his desk and smiled at me and said, I'm not going to do anything about it. I complained of the zoning violations on my property. And usually when a citizen complains about a zoning problem, a violation, or even a suspected violation, within 2 days, a zoning inspector is supposed to be dispatched and an evaluation and the problem taken care of. So that did not happen. I called the zoning office. My phone calls were directed to Derek Propolis. Derek Propolis, hello, Miss Elke. No, we find your complaints unfounded. Slam. I went into the office and I tried to go to speak to someone besides Derek Propolis, but I was directed to Derek Propolis yet again. And there he was, all huffed up behind his desk. And I said to him, Mr. Propolis, what do I have to do to get these zoning problems inspected? And he said, well, I said, do I have to sue the county? And he said, go ahead and sue the county, haha. It's been tried before. And I was taken aback because I thought that even though I'm a single mother, even though I don't have a huge income, even though I don't have a lot of friends, I really believe that the pledge that we made when we first started this meeting, that it was liberty and justice for all, that I was included in that, and that I would be covered under protection, under equal protection under the law. And I could not understand why a zoning issue was creating such havoc in my life, because the zoning violations perpetrator had started to threaten me, was putting rocks in my right-of-way, other objects in my right-of-way, was coming down at night with a flashlight onto my property, frightening me and my daughters. I had to send my daughter away to boarding school to keep her from being affected by this. I was alone. At night, this man was coming down on my property and trying to scare me. He was letting my dogs loose. He was putting sand in my furnace supply that would clog up my heat so that I didn't have heat in the winter. He would shovel snow into the right-of-way so that in the winter, during Snowmageddon, I couldn't get out during a snow emergency. Every time I called the police, I was told, we won't write a report. Every single time. And I still couldn't figure out Why don't I have rights? Why am I targeted for this? And I thought, I own property. Derekpropolis. I wrote a complaint about Derekpropolis to the Ethics Commission, and I got a letter back, and denying that there was any merit to my complaint. It was completely dismissed. And here I was alone in my lonely house, with no friend in the world and no one to believe me that I was being ongoing criminally harassed over a zoning matter. No one believed me. No one would do anything. The police would not write a report even when I had property damage. I couldn't recover anything on my insurance because the police wouldn't write a report. Why wouldn't the police write a report? Well, the zoning violator told me at one of the confrontations where I was, I guess you would call, just surrounded by people that were friends of his and accosted, you would call it, in my own right-of-way trying to return to my house. He told me he had friends at the county. Don't bother to complain. And I wondered if he had friends at the police department too, because for a while there was a police car parked there in the right-of-way all the time with FOP license FOP 111, who was that? And also FOP license FOP 9338. Who was that? Are those people related to those officers? Is that why those officers would not write a report? At least 20 incidents of ongoing harassment and criminal harassment against me, and it was witness intimidation. Here's some of the officers. This is standing in my right-of-way, the people who accosted me. These are photographic proofs of the incidents that the police would not write a report for. There is collusion in Baltimore County regarding police activity, regarding zoning activity, and regarding court processes. There is collusion. And I have proof in this file if any federal agent cares to look at it. And I won't take up more of your time, but before I go, I have a couple of questions. Where did I leave them?
Would you please talk about the police impersonator that you had on your property?
Well, but I didn't cover that? Okay, so Derekpropolis, the zoning code inspector, a month after I wrote the ethics complaint naming Derekpropolis as having violated my civil due process rights and discriminated against me based on gender, and I found out that right a few weeks after the first time I met Derekpropolis, I was walking my dog in the park behind my house, and when I got close to home, the dog alarmed, and he's a very docile and gentle dog, and he was very alarmed, and I was concerned and tried to discover what was it that my dog was aggressively, his hackles were up, and he was not his normal self, telling me there's something behind that tree. Well, I walked around thinking, oh, maybe a snake. It was a man laying on the ground. He saw that I saw him, and he got up. He was sweating and very concerned about being discovered, brushing himself off, and he stood up, and he was wearing a state trooper's uniform. And I was, oh, it's a police officer, thank God, because I won't be, accosted in the woods. So I got a look at him, and I looked at his gun, and my dog wanted to lunge at him, and I looked at his gun, and I said, the dog is usually friendly, I'm sorry, and I ran to my house. Well, a month after I got the letter, denying the investigation into Derekpropolis because of my ethics complaint, I was sitting around and I thought, there's something wrong. And I Googled the words, corruption, Baltimore County, and a story came up. zoning code officer arrested as police impersonator. Yes, oh my God. Nobody's ever investigated this. There is all of these other stories of collusion, court misconduct, police misconduct, structuring of cases, attorneys structuring cases to make the most money. I have evidence of this. It is going on in Baltimore County. I am asking for an uprising, not a riot, an uprising, that we rise up. We demand that the Department of Justice and the FBI look at this police misconduct, collusion, and corruption going on in zoning and police, executive branch included, because I have letters here to both Jim Smith and Kevin Skamanitz. Yes, and they are well aware of it, have ignored it, and what are they called? They're members of the court, representatives of the law, right? They're officials. They should have done something about this. Scott Schellenberger is involved too. He is a corrupt individual who also provides witnesses from the county for, there was a civil case. You wouldn't believe the file that I had to go through. Okay, I know there's other speakers, but I'm one little old lady. All I can do is be one little voice. I went through hell. I have post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms because of some of the things that they did to me. My car was surrounded by people beating on my car saying, we want to talk to you over this situation, which the county ignored. So I'm asking you, please, bring in a federal investigation of some sort, because there's collusion, there's corruption, and it's criminal. Thank you.
Well, I had a hug for you too, so you deserve one for all you've been through.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for all being concerned about our community, because if I'm a victim, there's 100 that aren't able to have some wherewithal or some backbone to speak up. And thank God my father was Kimball E. Elke and cared about the community like he did, because he taught me, don't stoop to their level. Do what's right, and that's what I'm trying to do, which is to speak up, and we all need to do it. Thank you.
I have one question. What would your father think about what the Dundalk Eagles doing now, about not speaking up and supporting the community?
Start a new newspaper. Exactly what he did.
I can't comment on that. Actually.
Okay, she cannot comment on it. Somehow or another, I don't think it would have been very well. But we need honest testimonials from people coming forward, telling about what is going on, how things affect them. Really, I don't even want to pick on elected officials. I don't. I just want them to do their job. They do their job, that'd be fine with me. Dundalk TV is here. They want to come forward and talk about what's going on and what they're doing, but I'm not looking for any BS and I'm not looking for any spin, because if that's what you want to give me, I'm going to come back hard at you. And I have a couple videos. I have kids that are saying that they want the elected officials to do something about what's happening at the North Point Government Center, because they are being robbed, our community is being robbed. This is the heartbeat of the community, and I'd like to thank everybody that came out here tonight talking about different things. I want you to take this information back to your communities, form this Can Change Baltimore County Committee, and we can move forward.